Hello class, welcome to our lesson today dealing with section 9.4. We're going to be looking at the volume of prisms today. There's a few formulas that you want to make sure you have figured out, mainly area formulas of objects, and then we'll show how to make that the volume idea. Before we get to that, just a few review style questions. This first question is a cross multiplying idea, so it says 9 over 10 equals 4 over x. Remember, this is two fractions equal to one another, so one of the easiest ways to solve is to do 9 times x equals 4 times 10. And then divide by 9 to get x by itself. It's just like a one-step equation at that point. You'll have 40 divided by 9. Now remember, you could make that a decimal, which would be 4.4 repeating. The improper fraction of 40 over 9 actually isn't that bad of an answer, which could become 4 and 4/9 as a mixed number. This one in the top right, which is a better deal? Basically, you want to find the unit rate, so take the price divided by 3 pounds, that'd be 82 cents per pound for the first one. 4.45 divided by 5 pounds, that'd be 89 cents per pound for the second one. So the better deal is the top one because it's a cheaper unit rate or cost per pound. For this last one, I did the percent equation. So what percent? I don't know. Of 92 equals 75 is 75. I divide by 92 on both sides. And when I get the answer, I get this 0.1852, etc. When you solve that, remember you have to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. But you have to make that a percent first. So move the decimal 2 spots to the right to multiply by 100 to make it a percent. And then round to the nearest tenth, which would be 81.5%. Okay, here's a bunch of different types of prisms. We've talked a little bit about rectangular prisms, obviously. We have talked about triangular prisms. And then you had a homework check question or have seen an octagonal prism before. Really, the prism is just named by the two ends, and then they're kind of just spread out with rectangles in between them. So the key is what's the base of the of each of these prisms. So the base is the octagon or the pentagon or the rectangle, the hexagon, the triangle. And so to find the volume, it's very easy. Think of it like just stacking books. The easiest way to find the area of the volume of a prism is to find the area of the base, whatever the base is. So if it's triangular prism, triangle, a hexagon, hexagon. So then when you find the area of the base, you're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. So area of the base times its height will give you the volume of that prism. And that's true on all prisms. So yes, there is a formula here, but you still have to know how to find the area of that base first, and then times the height of the prism. I went ahead and asked for both volume and surface area just to review surface area and make sure we're talking about volume as well. Okay, so for this is a rectangular prism. So this is the box. Okay, this is the basic idea that many of you are very good at with the 2 length width, 2 length height, 2 width height. And there's 2 of each of them, and you multiply all that together. You should get 516 square yards, okay, yards to the second power. The volume is actually easier, so it's kind of strange. You'd think volume would be more complicated, but it's actually easier to find because it's just area of the base, so 6 times 8, then times the height of the prism, which would be 15, and that would be 720 yards cubed. Remember, this surface area would be like wrapping the prism on the outside, whereas the volume would be like pouring something into it or making a mold of something on the inside. For this triangular prism, the surface area would be 2 triangles, so 1/2, 12 times 5, because that's the base and height that make a right angle, then times 2 because there's 2 of them, and then plus 9 times 12, 13 times 12, or 13 times 9, and 5 times 9 because there's 3 rectangles. The other option is you could find the perimeter, which would be 5 plus 12 plus 13, and then multiply that by 9 itself, and that would also be able to find that number for the surface area. Notice here on this picture that the 13 here is not needed to find the volume, because to find the volume, I'd find the area of the base, and remember the base is a triangle here because it's a triangular prism, and there's 2 triangles on the 2 ends that meet up with rectangles in the middle. So 1/2 base times height. This is the area of the triangle. That's big B, the capital B that's from this right here. That's the area of the base. And then the height of the prism. So be careful here. The height of the prism, a lot of students will say it's 5 because it's 5 tall. But remember, the height of a prism is base to base. Think about like yourself from head to toe, for example. Okay, so this would be 9 is the height of the prism, not 5. And I multiply all that together and I get 270 cubic meters or meters to the third power. This question here is a hexagonal prism. Notice here all I asked you to find was the volume. I'd have to give you one of these side links here to find the surface area because of the rectangles around the sides. But this one's actually the easiest of the group because they already found the area of the hexagon for you, and then times the height of the prism, and you get 648. it'll either be objects you know, so triangle, square, rectangle. You could get a trapezoid, I guess, or a parallelogram. But then if it's something larger like a hexagon or an octagon, I would have to give you that area and then ask you to find the volume that way. The last question we're going to look at is dealing with a type of popcorn containers. So first it says find the height of each bag and which bag should you use to reduce the amount of paper. So this is the idea we have to start recognizing what am I trying to find. So for this first bag, it's they're supposed to hold 96 cubic inches of popcorn. So that's the volume. And so to find the volume of a box, it would be length times width times height. So 3 times 4 times h. So 3 times 4 times h equals 96. Essentially, you just multiply everything together on the left side, so that's 12h equals 96. And to solve for h, you divide by 12 on both sides, and you get h equals 8. So this one would have a height of 8. This other one would be 4 times h equals 96. 16h equals 96, divide by 16 on both sides, one-step equation, h equals 6 inches. That answers part A for both of these. Which bag should be used to reduce paper? That's a surface area question. Okay, because you're saying, well, how much paper is used around the edge of it? So notice here for the surface area, it should be like 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this, like what we did on this previous slide over here to find the surface area of the rectangular prism. The problem is that this is an open top. So what you'll notice here is I have 3 times 4, but I didn't multiply by 2, I just multiplied by 1. Because there's only 1 of this group, but there's 2 of the other groups, and this ends up being 124 square inches. Whereas this one that's 4 by 4 on the bottom is 112. So if you were to pick which one you would want choice B because it has less surface area, which means your cost would be lower for the exact same amount of popcorn that would be on the inside of it. This is a third design, so same idea, 4 times 4.8 times h. 4 times 4.8 times h equals 96. So that's 19.2 when I multiply the two numbers on the left side. Divide them on both sides and I get h equals 5. I do the surface area idea. So 4 times 4.8, there's only 1 of those on the bottom because the top is open. 2 of the 4 by 5s, 2 of the 4.8 by 5s, and I get 107.2. So actually this bag's even better than the first two because its surface area is even less than this 112 or 124. This is partially why this is the start of the conversation of things like water bottles, how they have these indents, and it's kind of higher level mathematics with some calculus ideas, but the indents and those things are to save surface area while still having the same volume. So we can change things like this, and I'm sure companies have done that throughout the years, to adjust their surface area ideas to save some money while still giving you the same product. Two big things to take away from this question. One is that the top was open, so you only need one of the length widths. And the second is how to work backwards with given volume in order to solve for a missing piece. Okay, your homework is 1 through 15, 20, 22, and 25 through 28. I know it seems like a lot of different questions, but most of them are just find the volume. They don't ask you as much surface area as what I've done in this video. You want to make sure that you show the setup, not just the answer. So for example, I don't just want to see this 107.2. I want to see this work that goes with it. I don't want to just see this 648. I need to see this work that goes with it. For full credit, you're going to have to do that for your homework today. Have a good day, everyone.